So let's take a look here. Write the function in intercept form for the graph below. Well, if you don't know what intercept form is, that's going to be a struggle. So let's go ahead and write out what intercept form is. I'm just going to put a little underline here. Your intercept form will look like this: x minus your root or your 0, and then x minus your other root. This is on the back of the beige packet, like on the beige sheet. It's actually on the beige sheet, yeah. I didn't have like another side to copy. Okay, now, well, all we have to do is take our x-intercepts and plug them in. So in blue, I have an x-intercept of -2, and I have 1 at 1. So I'm literally taking those numbers and plugging them in into R1. I'll even label that R1, R2, so that you know that we're literally just plugging those numbers in. So here we go. F of x is equal to, I'm just going to rewrite this, and we're going to basically be done. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you plug it in. Just want to make sure that you're all on the same page. I don't want to rush. Does it matter if we put the 1 on the It does not matter. No, it doesn't. No. So I'm literally going to take this -2 and plug it in. When I plug in -2, what happens to the sign? It changes. So that changes. And I take 1, plug it in. It just becomes 1, and we're done. Now, on the midterm, again, this, if it kind of looks familiar to you, it's because the midterm looked just like this. Because I told you the midterm was mirroring the final exam. Okay? I actually looked through it and saw how you guys did. A lot of you switched it when I looked back. A lot of you put x minus 2 and x plus 1. Okay? But remember, they're opposite signs. Okay? Questions? Okay, this next one is a calculator question that says, what is the vertex of this function? Well, I don't have a graph, so I have to actually get a graph. Okay, so this one, again, is just like the one that was on the midterm. You obviously have to go to y equals, plug in f of x, even though there's no f there for some reason, and then press graph. So I'm just writing down like what the steps are in your graphing calculator. Again, if you know that, then don't write that down. If you feel like you're pretty good at the graphing calculator, you don't need my assistance, that's fine. So go ahead and get out that graphing calculator. Now, obviously, a lot of it's probably done for you because the class before you. So I'm going to go off to the side, and I'm going to pull up my graphing calculator, and here we go. So I'm going to plug in 3x squared minus 6x plus 5. Yeah, because that's what's right here, right?
Someone had +2.
It might have been from that packet then, because the questions go with another question. All right, I'm going to sketch it off to the side so that I can have that for your guys' notes when you go back and you look at the answers. So I'm going to press graph, and when you take a look here, let's see what we got. We want the vertex. So the vertex, it looks like we went right 1, up 2, right 1, up 2. So here we go. Right 1, up 1, 2, and it looks something like this. So I'm literally just going to write that. Right 1, up 2, that's my vertex, and I'm done. I wanted to put that there so you know, because on the test, on the midterm, I did see some people put the answer right here. Whatever this y-intercept was, some people did answer it that way. But the vertex is this middle point. So I wanted to put that on paper for you so that you can tell the difference. Questions? Yes. Let me zoom back out. There you go. That's it. We just had to find the vertex. That's it. This is a very easy final. And I'm telling you that. And it might be easy right now because you just did a midterm like this. That's why we do the midterm. We do the midterm for that reason, so that you already saw the questions twice, and now you're going to see them again, and then again in the pink packet. And then by the time you take the final, you've seen the final exam question 4 times before you even took the final. It's crazy. But there's a reason for that. I have had 100% on my final. Okay, just saying. Questions? This next one is kind of the same, but again, I don't know why all these f of x's. Are you guys missing f of x's? Jesus, I don't know what happened. Okay, what are the number and types of zeros? So remember, there was 2 real zeros, 2 imaginary zeros, and there was 1 real zero. Okay, there are 2 ways you can do this. Exactly what we just did, type it in the graphing calculator. I'm obviously going to show it to you without one in case you want that knowledge. So remember, when we learned this way back in like August or September, this piece told us concave down. So at least when you graph it in the graphing calculator, you're able to recognize if your graph doesn't look like it's going down, then you typed it in wrong. Okay, this is telling me right 5, and this is telling me up. It's supposed to be a U. That looks like a box. Up 2. Watch, we can do this without graphing it. If I draw a little sketch and I go right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1, 2, and I do concave down, how many and what type of zeros am I going to have? 2 real. 2 real. That's it. Now again, if you forget that, that's okay. Get out your graphing calculator. Oh my God, if I took over this thing one more time. Okay. You can type all of that in and you'll get that graph without even having to know anything. Questions? Again, it makes me happy knowing even last period, a lot of people recognize these questions, and that was the point of the midterm. Yes, the midterm probably was stressful. Maybe you didn't do so hot, but now what's really important is that final, and you'll be happy on that grade if you, again, apply those skills from the midterm and we're doing today. Okay, this one. Now, there is nothing to put in the graphing calculator, so you can cross out, use a calculator. I don't know why it says that. But it says, given a quadratic function with a negative leading coefficient. So negative means concave down. So negative, I'm going to put a little note, just means concave down, right? That's what we just talked about. And the vertex, so let's go ahead and sketch it. Right 3, 1, oh, left 3, 1, 2, 3, up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, concave down. It's asking for the range. Yeah, I don't want to rush, so give me a second. So I'm going to highlight the range. And remember, the range is bottom to top. You start all the way at the bottom, and you go all the way to the top until you can't go no further.
Isn't the negative infinity positive infinity?
Not positive infinity, but we'll talk about. There's a number, yes. So I'm going to label the vertex right here, -3, 7. With my highlighter, I am going to start at negative infinity down here. And what y value do I stop at? 7. So I'm going to go from negative infinity to 7, and we're done. Now, some of you might have been able to recognize that without even having to graph it. Your vertex will tell you where you're stopping or you're starting. Okay? Just an FYI. Questions? Okay. We're already almost there. Got a couple more questions. Alrighty. Everyone's got that down. Okay. Easy question. Is this a max or a min? It's a min. Very good. So this guy is a min. Remember that a max looks like this and a min looks like this. Maybe make a little note for yourself. Ooh, that did not come out good. A max looks like this. What is going on? I'm not even doing anything. There we go. A max looks like this and a min looks like that. So I'm going to circle min because that's what it is. Now, on your final exam, you've already lost a choice because there's 3 choices only on your final. Again, we made it very easy for you. 3 choices. You have a 1 on a 3rd shot of getting it right. Okay, well, my vertex is 3, 1. So what is the min value, 3 or 1? 1 at the value of 3, and you're done. That easy. Go and flip when you're ready so I know you can move on. These next ones are very, very similar to the final exam question. You'll see that on the pink sheet. Okay, you guys are doing great. Keep it up.
C and D are not it.
Good. So I'm glad that you said that because I was just going to ask that question. There are two of them that you can cancel out right away. And Carson's right. It's C and D because the question says max or min. And we didn't even read the question yet. And we can already say that it's going to be A or B because it's a max. Okay. Well, it says describe what the vertex means in terms of the situation. Well, here are your X value. X values are days. And your Y values are retweets. Okay, so it's asking, the graph below represents the number of retweets per day of a funny tweet that you sent out. So is the max number of retweets 25 at the 5th day, or is the max number of retweets 5 at the 25th day? It's the 5th day, very good. Okay, because this is your Y value and that's your X. And this is X, whoops. Come on. And this is X. This is Y. Good. So it's A. Good job. Again, a very straightforward question, but being able to read those graphs is super important. Just in general. Not so bad, right? All right, last two. Given the function, identify the interval decrease. So I will give you the graph on this one. Okay, so when you look at this, I'm going to draw a dotted line because you always have to talk about the X values. Always. Well, from left to right, negative infinity to -3, and then -3 to infinity. One of these pieces is increasing and one of them is decreasing. Is this very first piece in yellow increasing or decreasing? Increasing, so I'm just going to put an I there and put a D here. Well, the question asks for decreasing. So I'm decreasing from -3. It's always your X value. X values go to positive infinity here. So -3 to positive infinity would be my answer. Remember, X values, not Y values. A lot of people on your midterm put, bless you, -1 to infinity. Okay, so again, be careful. Make a note maybe. X values only. Okay. Now, out of all the questions, I feel like the next one is like, quote unquote, the most challenging because you have to think a lot about like each choice. And you have to like do a process of elimination. Okay? So I want to make sure everyone's ready for that one. Okay, take a look. Which functions or function could represent the graph below? You can see that like you're going to have to choose one of them, two of them. Okay, we'll have to figure that out. But I want to make some notes for you. Look at the choices that you have. These two look the same, and these two look the same. The first two are your x-intercepts. You can see that's an intercept form that we learned about. This guy is called vertex form, if you remember from that page before. We did like, what's the vertex? So if you actually take it where you don't look at the graph first and you label everything here, it'll be pretty easy. So what are your two x-intercepts? X equals what and x equals what? Remember? Yeah, very good. -2 and +4. What about this one? Good, 2 and -4. So now that you put that, those are your choices. Well, let's look at our graph. Our x-intercept is at -2 and +4. So right away, I know that this one's gone and this one's good. Okay, so now we already can look at our answer choices and probably cross off a couple of them. Let's talk about this next one. What is the vertex here? Remember, it's always the opposite sign. So this is going to be 1, -9. What's this one? Careful. It's always this, because this is saying left 1, down 9. Okay. Well, let's look at our vertex. This is +1, -9. That's this guy. So if you take it piece by piece and write actually everything out, you will have enough time on this final. It's 33 questions. And you have a very, very, very long time. So writing as much information that you can would be super beneficial. So the answer is A, right?
1 and 3?
1 and 3, yes.
No.
That's it for today.
I knew it was 3.